Some people vanish without a trace. Others disappear under circumstances so bizarre they leave behind more questions than answers. But when a missing person's final moments are caught on camera, the mystery takes a much darker turn.
Still hoping that more information will come in and that we can find Nancy and bring her home.
We're still waiting for answers.
Like she was in an abusive relationship, because I think that's the product of her environment.
One such case is that of Nancy Ying, a woman who vanished during a yoga retreat in Guatemala. The last time she was seen, she was calmly paddling her kayak on Lake Atitlan. Minutes later, she was gone. What followed was a tangled mess of conflicting stories, unexplained departures, and police inaction that fueled theories of something far more sinister. On the morning of October 19th, Nancy and a group of fellow retreat-goers set out on kayaks, paddling across the vast lake. A video recorded just before they left shows Nancy smiling and waving, moments before she disappeared forever. What happened next remains a mystery. According to Christina Blazik, the last person to see her alive, Nancy suddenly jumped into the water at the deepest part of the lake, over 1,000 feet deep, ignoring warnings about the strong currents. Christina claimed she paddled away to retrieve Nancy's drifting kayak, but when she returned, Nancy was gone. No screams, no splashing. Just gone. But witnesses at the kayak rental shop noticed something strange. When the group returned, they avoided eye contact, left without paying, and rushed to leave Guatemala within hours, even though their retreat wasn't over. Police weren't notified for nearly 24 hours, and when they were, records of Christina's supposed statement mysteriously vanished. As Nancy's family desperately searched for answers, Christina refused to speak to them.
Still hoping that more information will come in and that we can find Nancy and bring her home.
After mounting public pressure, she finally gave a lawyer-approved statement a full month later. But by then, wild theories had already taken hold. Some believed the retreat group was hiding something. Others speculated a cult ritual, a hate crime, or a cover-up. With no body, no witnesses, and no conclusive evidence, Nancy Ying's case remains an unsolved enigma. Was it a tragic accident, or did something far more sinister happen that day on Lake Atitlan? Whatever the truth is, Nancy never made it back to shore. Despite the unsettling contradictions surrounding Nancy Ying's disappearance, at least there were eyewitness accounts and a timeline to piece together. But some missing person cases leave behind nothing. No witnesses, no explanations, just a void where a person used to be. That was the case with Caitlin Potts. On February 22, 2016, 27-year-old Caitlin Potts sent a message to her sister Cody saying she was traveling from Enderby, British Columbia to Calgary, using a ride service she found through Kijiji, a popular online classified site. That was the last time anyone ever heard from her. At first, no one was too concerned. Caitlin was independent and had moved around a lot. But when she didn't reach out for several days, her family reported her missing on March 1st. It wasn't until 3 months later that police released a CCTV clip of Caitlin entering Orchard Park Mall in Kelowna, British Columbia, the day before she vanished. It was the last confirmed sighting of her. Caitlin had a troubled past. She grew up in the foster care system and had an on-again, off-again relationship with 41-year-old Jason Hanowick, a man with a history of domestic violence. Her family recalled seeing her covered in bruises, and she had even stayed at a women's shelter to escape him. Police strongly suspected foul play, but no solid evidence surfaced. Jason's property was searched, with cadaver dogs, forensic teams, and helicopters, but nothing was found. Rumors spread that Caitlin was one of several Indigenous women who vanished in the Okanagan region in 2016, sparking fears of a serial killer. Years later, Caitlin's fate remains unknown.
We're still waiting for answers. I'm still sitting here wondering where she is.
Police still receive tips, but the truth, whatever it is, seems buried somewhere in the vast wilderness of British Columbia. Caitlin Potts vanished without a trace, leaving only a grainy surveillance video as the last proof of her existence. But in some cases, missing persons leave behind something even more haunting. Final videos, cryptic messages, or moments frozen in time just before disaster strikes. That's exactly what happened with Spencer Mugford and Sophia McKenna. On May 27, 2018, 20-year-old Spencer Mugford and his friend Sophia McKenna met at the University of Connecticut Avery Point campus. The two had once dated, but remained close friends. That night, they took a small, mastless sailboat without permission and set out toward the new London Ledge Lighthouse, an abandoned beacon floating in Connecticut's dark waters. At 1:30 a.m., Spencer uploaded a Snapchat video showing them laughing as they paddled toward the lighthouse. Minutes later, he posted a photo of Sophia standing next to a no trespassing sign. That was the last sign of life from either of them. The next day, Sophia's ex-boyfriend, Austin Cordova, called her mother, worried that she had missed their plans. That's when her mother noticed several missed calls from an unknown number between 2:05 and 2:09 a.m. When she called back, it was Spencer's phone. Panic set in.
That Snapchat picture was posted at 2 a.m. And then I've got the missed phone calls.
Authorities found Sophia's car parked at the campus lot, her phone still inside. The small sailboat was missing, until Austin and his father, conducting their own search, spotted it capsized near Long Island's Truman Beach, 13 miles away. Even stranger, unidentified fingerprints were found on the boat, but police never analyzed them. On June 8th, Spencer's body was found floating in the water. The official cause: accidental drowning. Sophia, however, was never found. Some believe she drowned trying to reach safety. Others suspect something far more sinister: a lone boater, a trafficker, or an unknown third party who took advantage of a desperate situation. Sophia McKenna's case left behind more questions than answers. A boat found capsized, an unexplained series of phone calls, and a missing woman whose body was never recovered. But sometimes, the last known movements of a missing person are caught on camera. One final chilling glimpse before they vanish into the unknown. That was the case with Kristen Brugman. On January 1st, 2021, 26-year-old Kristen Brugman left her shift at Sici's Pizza in Indianapolis, telling her parents she was going out with friends. That was the last time they ever heard from her. Kristen spent the night at Manly's Irish Mutt, a local pub, with her ex-boyfriend, Eddie Bradford, and 3 of his friends. Witnesses say she argued with the group, and while some reports claim she stayed behind, a private investigator later confirmed that Kristen left with them around 12:15 a.m. She told them she wanted to go bowling and was last seen walking in that direction. The next and final sighting of Kristen was on a YMCA security camera at 2 a.m. The footage shows her walking alone through the parking lot, but then the camera cuts out. When it turns back on, she's gone. Investigators noticed a dark SUV parked near the fence line separating the YMCA from a nearby apartment complex. At 12:37 a.m., the vehicle was seen driving away. The car has never been identified. Kristen's phone went straight to voicemail that night. Her parents felt something was wrong. Her mother, Lisa, later recalled, "I woke up at 12:30, the exact time her phone shut off. I just knew something bad had happened." Despite extensive searches, a $10,000 reward, and hiring a private investigator, Kristen remains missing without a trace. The dark SUV, the abrupt camera failure, and a missing woman walking alone at night. All pieces of a puzzle that, to this day, remains unsolved. Kristen Brugman vanished in the dead of night with only a grainy CCTV clip marking her last known movements. But sometimes, people don't just disappear into thin air. They keep moving, slipping through the cracks of society, avoiding the very people searching for them. That seems to be the case with Patricia Meehan. On April 20th, 1989, Patricia Meehan was driving through Circle, Montana, when she suddenly veered into oncoming traffic. A driver named Peggy Buer managed to dodge the collision, but the car behind her wasn't as lucky. The impact was brutal. The wrong-way driver's car crumpled against another vehicle, yet when the dust settled, Patricia didn't seem injured at all. Instead, she climbed out of her car, stood silent and emotionless on the side of the road, and stared blankly at the people around her. Then, before police arrived, she turned, scaled a fence, and disappeared into the darkness. Authorities searched for 5 days, using helicopters and dogs, but Patricia was nowhere to be found. The only clue was a set of footprints leading into the wilderness, and then nothing. Strangely, the sightings began almost immediately. Reports flooded in from truck stops and diners across multiple states, with dozens of witnesses claiming to have seen Patricia. Disoriented, confused, always asking strangers for rides. Her parents chased every lead. A Montana couple even let a woman matching Patricia's description stay at their home for a night, only to realize too late who she really was. By the time they contacted authorities, Patricia was gone again, slipping through their fingers like a ghost. While all of this was happening, her parents found something chilling. In an undeveloped roll of film inside Patricia's camera, they discovered a haunting self-portrait. Patricia standing in front of a mirror, her expression vacant, as if she was already disappearing from the world. As more people claimed to have seen her, theories began to swirl. Had she suffered amnesia from the crash? Some experts believe the stress combined with a possible head injury could have caused a complete loss of identity, forcing her to wander the country, searching for something familiar. Others speculated something much darker, that Patricia had deliberately caused the crash in a suicide attempt, then fled when it failed. But if that were the case, why were there confirmed sightings of her across multiple states for months after? And then there's the possibility that Patricia never left the area at all. Maybe the footprints leading away from the crash site ended because she had collapsed somewhere in the Montana wilderness, her body never found. But if that were true, who were the dozens of people who swore they had seen her alive? More than 100 reported sightings later, not a single trace of Patricia has ever been confirmed. No body, no official leads, just a woman walking in and out of strangers' lives, always one step ahead of the truth. Was she lost, running, or something else entirely? We may never know. But one thing is certain, Patricia Meehan didn't just disappear. She left behind a trail of questions, ones that may never be answered. In these cases, footage exists, grainy, eerie, and often unsettling. A fleeting glimpse of a figure walking into the unknown, a voice recorded moments before silence. A group of people acting just a little too suspiciously. The clues are there, yet they offer no comfort, only deeper confusion and a lingering sense of dread.